Troubles for the Obama administration tonight. 3 Republican senators demanding to know if the White House was behind the controversial Benghazi talking points. Senators John McCain, Lindsey Graham, and Kelly Ayotte demanding the Obama administration identify who briefed former UN Ambassador Susan Rice before she appeared on 5 Sunday shows. Senator Ayotte joins us. Nice to see you.
Great to see you, Greta.
Okay, the letter was sent last night.
It was sent before we also got these emails.
Well, I was going to say, and now these emails. So tell me now, what are you thinking?
Here's what I'm thinking. I think, unfortunately, what we suspected from the beginning. You have, look at the talking points, number one. The talking points that were issued never mentioned a video. The word video is nowhere in those talking points.
And the talking points emanate from where? The CIA?
That came from the CIA. The ones that were flawed because they omitted the reference to Al-Qaeda. So they were flawed in and of themselves, but there's no reference to a video in it. We always said, where did the video reference come from? Now we know it came from the White House. Ben Rhodes, the email that went to top President Obama advisors, David Plouffe, Jay Carney, and was used to prep Susan Rice.
Do you know that they all saw that? David Plouffe, Jay Carney, they all got this email from Ben Rhodes?
It was sent to them, so you have to assume that they received it. And this was obviously a pretty hot topic with 4 brave Americans killed. They're 2 months out to an election. So this was a dynamic where the president in the election is obviously claiming that he had been a good foreign policy president, that he had Al-Qaeda on the run. The other thing in this set of email here that's very troubling is this reference to make sure you mention that Al-Qaeda has been destroyed. Then you saw Ambassador Rice on every single Sunday show saying Al-Qaeda has been decimated. That was nowhere in the talking points and actually is contradicted by what we know happened.
Well, let me rewind you a bit. Like, go back to September 6th, which was the Democratic convention in Charlotte, North Carolina, when the president spoke. He said Al-Qaeda, I'm quoting from it, Al-Qaeda is on the path to defeat.
Right.
I mean, that's what he said, and he goes on, he talks about it later, but so that was the theme at the convention, now of one of many.
One of many, but unfortunately, as we know, Al-Qaeda affiliates, the evidence is that they were involved in the attacks in Benghazi. And so the references that were taken out of the talking points that would have led people to understand right from the beginning this was a terrorist attack, that was incredibly troubling. But now we know the video story was really pushed from the White House as opposed to the intel community. Let's not forget also, the CIA stations chief that was actually in Libya sent...
In Tripoli, though.
In Tripoli.
Not Benghazi, but in Tripoli.
But was at least in Libya, on the ground much more than the people in Washington, sent that email to Acting Director Morell that day, which said, listen, this is not an escalation of protests. That was ignored as well. I guess one question I would have is, was that ignored because it didn't fit the White House talking points? It would be good to know answers to that.
For the life of me, I don't understand why President Obama, on September 18th, which is, is after September 11th, on the Letterman show, and on September 25th, which is even later than that, on The View, is still going with that video thing, which is that narrative that was coming out of the White House. I don't understand why I didn't correct him, or why he didn't correct himself.
I will never understand that either. I think that they clung to this narrative because it was a narrative leading up to the election that they had been pushing in terms of Al-Qaeda on the run, Al-Qaeda toward defeat. And so they clung to the video because the actual narrative, let's not forget, the head of the Defense Department and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs Staff said that they knew right away it was a terrorist attack, yet he clung to that explanation that defies the evidence.
And of course, I always bring up the fact that we were pushing on it at Fox here, and we were excluded from the State Department briefing call. They said it was an accident. We accepted it as an accident. We were accidentally left off, and then we were excluded from the CIA briefing about 2 weeks later. That was pretty deliberate, as though I always thought we were being punished for pursuing it. But who knows? Anyway, Senator, nice to see you.
Great to see you, Greta.